Everyone who follows me on Facebook already know it. My last video where I built this little gadget was demonetized by YouTube. And to be honest, I don't have any plan how this could happen. So I need a volunteer for one of my next videos. Basically, he just had to stand still for about 5 seconds and I'm going to throw this thing on him as fast as I can to confirm that it won't kill him and that this little thing here is no weapon. Or I just take this thing into the YouTube headquarters and shove it up there. Hey, and welcome to the Postapocalyptic Garage. In the last year my forging videos gained a lot of popularity amongst you guys, so I've planned to do another one today. But shortly after that decision I started to think about the comments that you guys wrote under the last forging videos in the comment section. And it appeared to me that many of you really want to start forging themselves, but are a little bit afraid of the costs which are going into a project like this. And yeah, basically I understand you, and the problem is not necessarily about finding a piece of steel or an old file to start with, but all the other equipment like the anvil, the forge itself, a good pair of dongs and all the other things you may have thought you need. So in this video we're going to build a simple little project which will show you how to build your own little forge for small knife projects or things like this for $5 or less. All you're gonna need for our mini forge are a piece of porous cement like this one here. This one here costs about $1 a piece in nearly every hardware store. In my case it was completely free because I used it on a construction project. You're also going to need some wood screws like this ones here. If you don't have them lying around anywhere in your house, you can buy the things in whole packs or just the amount you need. Many hardware stores will just charge you by weight when you need just a small amount of them. Many of you will also have laying around some blow torches like this one here. You can get them for around 5 to 10 bucks. And yeah, I know what you will say. I have to buy this, I'm already over 5 bucks. What was he talking about before? I will use blow torches like this because I have them and they basically free. But you can also find things like this here on the internet. I've bought it for slightly under 3 bucks. And it's basically the same thing like this one's here, just without the whole fancy plastic things around there. Speaking of blow torches, you will need at least one of them. I will use 2 just for good measure and because my principle, like always, is use what you have to get what you want. So basically this whole project comes free for me. So if you had to buy all the pieces and have no possibility to get something used like this one's for 1 or 2 bucks, you will have to pay $2.50 for this little thing here, about $1 for screws, and an additional $1 for this block of porous cement here. So right about $4.50, mission accomplished, and now go on with the project. And a quick additional mention to all of you wise guys out there. In this video I will use a cordless drill, a spade bit, and my belt grinder. Not because it can't be done without them, but because I have them. And for all of you who are going to write to the comment section, me, it's much more than $5, these tools are much more expensive than that, let me just show you something. This little thing here, my friends, is called a screwdriver. It will basically do the same thing as a cordless drill will do when it comes to screwing something together. And this thing here is called the Glock field knife. It basically works like all the other knives, also the ones from your kitchen. It have a pretty dull side which is used to grip the knife. It have a sharp edge, or in this case with the Glock field knife, an edge, which is mainly used to cut things. And most knives today come with some kind of pointy end, which can be used to drill holes into porous cement, just like you will do with a spade bit. And if you haven't noticed it till now, I'm not your stereotypical kind of survive with the most basic things kind of prepper or survivalist, because I strongly believe that's bullshit. And please don't get me wrong, I don't want to offend any one of you or any survival channel or any survivalist here on YouTube, because there are many great guys who are doing really great things on their channels. And I also believe it's really important that you know how to do certain things. And that's what I try to show you basically every time. For sure I know that I can drill a hole with a Glock field knife in some porous concrete. But as well I have this little puppy here in the workshop, so why don't use it? And for all of you who are going to unsubscribe after this statement, please answer me an easy question. Think about you being in a real survival scenario. And I talk about a real one, not the kind of playing around with some friends on the weekend. A real survival scenario, like some kind of disaster or governmental breakdown. You are in a pretty cold environment and you desperately have to make yourself a fire. In the left pocket of your trousers are some matches and a lighter. In your backpack there are some cotton balls impregnated with petroleum jelly and a fire steel. And you have some magnesium torches and a blowtorch in your car. And now imagine if you are in exactly that situation. And you have exactly the things I've talked about. Would you try to make yourself a fire with a bow drill and some dry grass? Okay, and just once more. It's a really good skill to know how to make fire with a bow drill and some dry grass. But if I have a lighter, I will use that lighter. And basically that's all I wanted to tell you. Oh, and yes, I'm going to use a jigsaw too. I forgot to mention that, but I think you've got the point. Okay, so now our forge has got pretty hot. Maybe you can see it on the air reflections which are between me and the camera. Here I have a piece of high carbon steel, and now I want to put this into the forge, and in the meantime we are going to prepare our hammer and anvil. Okay, so our little forge over there is heating up the metal pretty good. I'm sorry for the background noise, but those blow torches are putting out a little more sound than I expected. And because I know, as I said in the beginning, many of you will complain about not having an anvil or a suitable hammer. So I think you can find something like this pretty much everywhere. In my case it's just a piece of railroad, but basically you can use pretty much everything which is made out of metal and which is as heavy as possible. And for all three of you who don't have a hammer at home, I will use this piece of flat steel bar instead. Okay, so two little side notes. This piece of metal in here gets really hot, and you see I can still touch the forge on the outside. So this porous concrete is a really good choice, and it also helps a lot to block the front opening here while the piece of metal is heating up, because with this little trick most of the heat will stay in the forge and is not escaping out the front, especially when you're working in pretty cold conditions like I do. So just this little piece here can help you really a lot. Okay, so unfortunately I can't show you the whole build process of the knife right now, but if you're interested in how to forge a knife or an axe or something else, be sure to check out my playlist on the channel covering this topic. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you have some spare time, just visit me on Facebook. And if you really like these videos and want to support our channel, be sure to visit our Patreon page. You find all the links in the description below. And now stop searching for excuses. Go down to your garage or your basement or even your living room. Build a forge like this one here. Have a beer. Make your own knife. And we'll see us in our next video. Have a good evening, guys, and goodbye. Oh, and just one last tip. If you don't like warm beer, don't place it on the forge. That's really stupid.